Hello, guys. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to a random live. It's early morning here. Not so early now. It's about 7 o'clock here in the Chain of Lakes, Illinois area. And I've been paddling. I've been doing this every day. Got my morning hair, got my morning face on, got my morning bugs on me. There's these little spiders that are so tiny and minuscule. And sometimes you can kind of see them when the wind blows, and their webs they're just like flying like parachutes on the air. I was telling somebody the other day, kind of like Charlotte's Web. And it's quite amazing. And as I'm here paddling, and I started paddling without looking, I started paddling and just following the sunrise. Ooh, that's like a really beautiful view right now. Wow. I wish my arm would not get tired and be able to just hold this view for you guys. Wow. Someone take a snapshot and send it to me somehow. Like in my emails, in the description, I have an email. Not a working website yet, but the email's working. Gorgeous. Okay. I'm talking about the sunrise. Not me, but yeah, why not? Why can't I be gorgeous and the sunrise be gorgeous, right? Yes, let's appreciate both. That's all about your worthiness, right? Can you appreciate that both are beautiful? Can you appreciate that both you and a flower are beautiful? Whether you're male or female. Standing in your masculinity or softening in your femininity. Taking on the world, business by business. Or sitting and enjoying just the blessings that you have. The softness, the strength, courage, the softness and the courage that's been coming up with the Lion's Gate. We're still in those energies. And what I'm noticing as I'm sitting here and paddling without looking, I still have my other senses. I still have the senses of being able to hear if there's a boat around me. The sense of just knowing that there's like a ripple in the stillness of the water, in the waves. A different way of using the physical senses. I can hear the cars going over the bridge, right over there. I can hear the birds that flap overhead, right? There's storks here, not storks, but herrings, white herrings, gray herrings, or called blue herrings. There's cicadas in the background. These are all things that we can play with our physical senses, and then we can tune in energetically, especially if we close the eyes and come to that stillness and sense. Now I'm able to feel reflections, right, of the sunlight, of our star, of source energy. And now I'm tuning into source energy as I feel the reflections on my face. I can feel the warmth. I can feel the coolness of the breeze. There are things as we close our eyes, because I've met many of you out there who have a hard time closing your eyes during a meditation. but it helps quiet a part of the mind. It helps you tune into your heart space. It allows you to focus on your breath, the in and the out, and to really feel where your nervous system is in that now moment. This is a technique that can be applied even if you're not on a really calm lake. This is something to practice. You can practice going into busy places and closing your eyes, examining, making sure you're in a safe place, trusting that you're in a safe place, and some of that trusting is like when a bug comes onto you, you allow it. You can start doing that with your eyes open, to start allowing any sorts of bugs that want to land on you, the presence for them to be there, and not flicking them away right away. Just a little technique I'm going to throw in there that you may have to start off with if you're used to swatting away things. This is how we become one with all. We are already one with all. But this is how we get our human online with the oneness, is by small little steps. And speaking of steps, there are some steps I want to bring forth to today. Some steps I'm going to be practicing and have been practicing for quite some time, actually, years, but then some of them forgotten. Some of them, like just now, I'm noticing with certain areas of my life that seem like they're on repeat. Am I stuck in a step? And so some of this is what I'm going to bring. It may be my Leap of Faith course. It may happen in the presence of silence as to what I'm going to offer for people to come and have an experience in Colorado for like 3 to 5 days, still working out the logistics. But the steps, and we talk about creation, right? We hear a lot about manifestation, and we are the creators, and we are an aspect of Source, God. We are God in action, right? And I've said that before, even those words, God in action. And I have someone in my life that I've known since they were young, and I've often brought these teachings to them. But more than anything, I taught them to feel within the heart. When they're asking a question, you have a guidance system, your inner being, that will guide you as to a yes or no. And this can be with foods that you are picking up, asking. This can be with medications, asking. Supplements needed in your day. Instead of just grabbing all the supplements and just putting them in a pile and throwing them back and being like, I'm done and I'm out. The ability to take a moment and breathe, take the supplement, ask. And this takes practice to tune up, the ability to tune into the vibration, to tune into the station of your inner being, and then trust what that inner being comes through. Maybe you ask for yes or no, and then you put yes over here and you put no over here. Is there any harm brought by practicing that with, say, your supplements? No. Is there medication that doesn't feel right for you anymore? that might go in the no pile. And then that might be something you go and you talk to your practitioner about. You know, these are little kind of tools, little different ways of practice to bring mindfulness in your day. So back to the steps. A step that I feel we get stuck in, that I myself have find myself stuck in, is the state of asking. When we first are creating and we're asking about what we want to be different in our life, we're noticing something that is undesirable and we want something different, oftentimes called contrast. And we can kind of get a little stuck in the contrast of our thought, getting stuck on the fact that it hasn't arrived, right? So I'm getting the sense to use the word we. We are not asking you to put your head in the sand, although we are. Gonna try keeping my eyes open for this. We are asking you to have a focus on the dream, on the imagination. You are asked, many of you, to give up dreaming as you go into adulthood, to give up dreaming, to go for a job that will make you money, to not follow your heart necessarily. Some of you are programmed with that. It happens through your educational system and through family and through other things. You might even have a romantic person in your life that is like, just do it. Just do the, you know, take the job because it gives you money. Because they're comparing themselves to you. So I don't digress here. Let me close my eyes for a moment and breathe, because I can feel that in my nervous system. People putting their perspective on me, on you. So we want you to come to a place of imagination, the desiring, and not focusing on the manifestation, which is the actualization, the actualizing, and the manifestation. That all comes with it, and I hope I'm making sense. But first, step one is the desiring, the asking. You're excited about something. You want to create something. And then the mind comes in and wants to figure out all of the doing to get you there. And then there might be coming overwhelm and possibly anxiety. And I say this because it's happened to me recently in a certain decision I'm trying to make about how long I'm staying here and what's available to me. So I'm noticing that there's some comments. I am going to continue with the steps and then I'm going to turn to the comments. So stay with me. So the step one, the asking. Step one is the asking and the fun part of being like, this excites me. This is what I want to do. And that's how you know you're in resonance with it, is because you know by your feeling. You really do know by your feeling. Something that is making you feel excited and feeling new and wow, right? It's like when you were a kid and you were on the playground and you had all these choices of play. and you zero in and you focus, and you're like, that's the one. And for you, it's the swings. For someone else, it's a seesaw. For someone else, it's a thing to like scamper about and play on. For somebody else, it's rolling around in the grass, right? Or playing tag and chasing somebody. It's possibly to go and kiss a girl, right? We had the whole girls kiss the boys, boys kiss the girls at that time, right? Then it was hug the girl, hug the boy. It was no longer good to kiss. I'm digressing. Anyway, it was a showing of love, a showing of fondness. We do that as adults. If you imagine today, I'm just imagining if we did that as adults today, people would get smacked. It would not be acceptable. How funny would that to create a game where that was okay and the people participating thought that that was okay to run and kiss the girl or kiss the boy. Whatever gender you were on, I'm going to think about this because I'm doing these experiences that I'm going to be offering people, and I'm saying this aloud because somebody watching will remind me, hey, are we going to play that game? The game of innocence. All right, so back to the steps. You focus your point. That's the one I want. That's what it is. That's your focal point, you know? That's your seesaw. That's your swings. And you take that action, right? You go over, you run to it. It's given. It's right there. It's given to you. That's step 2. Step 2 is Source gives it to you. There's some fish in the background. Step 2 is Source gives it to you. It's already answered. That's that thing where they say, it is done, it is done, it is done, right? And so it is. Step 2 is really so it is. And a lot of us get stuck in step 1, and we want to know all the details, and we want to have our mind figure out all the details of how it's going to happen. And it could simply happen with, I'm unsatisfied with my job. What's step 1? It could be asking, do I have funds in the bank? Am I safe in that way? If the answer is yes, and you feel safe, you can go on and know that it is given, and you can take the action to give your notice for a job. Because how the universe works, and this is just an example, because how the universe works is that the moment you create an opening, say there's being angst in that profession, but you're not willing to leave it or scared to leave it. Is there fear? You know, that's also something to ask. Is there that type of fear in there? It might be time to face that fear with courage, discernment, and focus. And you allow the universe, because this is where we have free will versus divine will. We have the free will to do anything we want, to make any choice we want. Even if the choice is undesirable for the moment, we have the choice to see how we respond to that undesirableness, right? So you open a window, you open a door, you open a window big enough to step through it and to sit on a roof and gain a new perspective of the world around you. So this is step 2. It's already given. Maybe you take some action. Step 3. You're reveling in the action that you've taken. You're noticing how your nervous system feels. There could be some nervousness, like, oh my God, I just did that. Or there could be some elation of, wow, I just chose. I just did that. And everything is going to be provided for me. Everything is going to be okay. and you revel in that. And if nervousness comes in, because it does, and it's okay, you come back to your imagination. You come back to the feeling of what it feels like now to be free of something that seemed to keep you tight in certain areas. The seagulls are here supporting us. They're talking. They're agreeing. Yes. Revel in the vastness that is you, in the choice that you have, the choices that you have. So that is step 3. Allowing to know that it's coming to you. You may have taken a first action in a particular experience, or you allowed yourself to come to a stillness in order to simply imagine and create. And when you're imagining, creating, it's not about the manifestation, it's about the feeling. You're feeling what newness is coming to you. Maybe you're not even visualizing. Imagination doesn't have to be just by visualizing. It can be with feeling. You're feeling into the freeness. You're feeling into the newness. Like, what does it feel like? Take a moment and just take a breath with me right now in step 3. What does it feel like for something to be new? This is how we can kind of distract ourselves from the beliefs that come in that want to take us away from the feeling good state, from the high-flying kite state, where you're out there flying your kite and it's in the wind and it's just going higher and higher, and it's even, you can feel the pull of the string saying, come with me, fly with me, right? So it's the feeling of the newness. You can even bring in smell, that new car smell. I don't know anybody that doesn't like that new car smell, honestly. That new car smell. That new house smell, when you've cleaned your house, when you've washed all the sheets, when everything is dusted. Say maybe you rearranged some articles in your environment. This is what you are doing. You are rearranging articles, particles of energy, when you are in creation mode. And a lot of people think that it's all visual. We're all told about these vision boards, and that is a very helpful tool. But really, you want to come back to the feeling, to just feel and breathe the newness. So take a breath now. In step 3, what does it feel like to be new, to be renewed, freshly out of the shower? The feeling, a cold plunge taken, the feeling of this newness, of a freshness about you, about life. This freshness opens up the door to new paths, new ways of being and believing in yourself, in Source, bringing things already to you without you having to do as much work. Less work. The term Keep It Simple Soul came up recently. And when your mind wants to venture off in the what ifs, I want you to come back to that phrase, keep it simple, soul. And you will see how things evolve and change, and even a decision that you thought you were going to make, and you kept it simple soul, which helped you step away from it for a time and then come back to it. You can come back to it with a whole new view, with a whole new rooftop view. I say this because I go on top of a rooftop when I have access to one and just feel the vastness. So step 3, right? Step 4. Step 4 is you have faith. You have faith in what you asked. You do not continue asking. You revel in the newness of what's available. And you know that it's here and it's on its way. It's part of step 2 is on its way. But it continues on. Like it's on my way. So as it's on my way, if there are actions that I'm going to take, I'm going to start taking actions that it's on its way, it's already here, and I'm possibly preparing certain things in my life because it's already here, right? I'm witnessing, I'm just kind of bringing in curiosity. Possibly I'm writing different things down, but I'm not getting caught up in the things that I'm writing down. I'm allowing my inner being to write things down in a way that may give me a list, but I won't necessarily put them into steps as to this has to happen, and then this has to happen, and this has to happen. I'm going to write things down, and then I'm going to leave that there and walk over to it. Could be during the day, could be later when I come home, could be the next day, could be the day after. And I'll kind of walk over to it and I'll trust. And maybe I will put an order of things. I will allow my inner being to lead me to the order of things is what's coming in. You know, I walk by and I put down a 1 or an A or a symbol like a star or a heart. You may put symbols next to each one, and then as you put symbols next to each one, maybe then there's an order that comes later through the symbols, not through the A, B, or C or the 1, 2, 3, but through the symbols. It's interesting what's coming through. This allows your mind not to interfere. The mind is a wonderful thing to bring things into form, but this allows you not to get tripped up. We love you so much. To not interfere as much. Yes? Do you understand? Okay. So, step 5. Step 5 is where you're experiencing it. Step 5 is, wow, that just happened. I just allowed that. You can think of it like the art of allowing comes in about step 3 and step 4. And Abraham Hicks talks a lot about this. In fact, Abraham Hicks, Morning Rampages, is something I'm going to bring in with some movement to my community, to my memberships. I'm rather excited about it. As I was practicing that practice this morning, and how lovely it felt to move and to stretch. So this is something you can do on your own. You can get off here, off this live, and you can go and check out Abraham Hicks and start doing some stretching and breathing and see what that does for you. So step 5, you've been in the art of allowing and accepting and allowing things to flow to you and being in the process, but not trying to control the process as much. and you're observing, but you're not so caught up in the observation of what reality is showing you. You know, maybe reality shows you bills coming in the case of that job, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I have this to pay for, I have that to pay for. And instead, you come to a place where you ask yourself, how can I feel good about this notice? Because I'm not even going to call it a bill. Some of you that know about stepping into your American rights know that it's not actually a bill, it's a notice. It's just a notice of this is how much somebody is asking for. And if you recall, when you look at those notices, there's an option. There's an option to pay in full. There's an option to pay the minimum. And there's an option to pay slightly over the minimum, but not pay in full. So notice even there you have choices. And a way that you can calm your nervous system by letting your mind, your nervous system know, I have choices. And what choice feels good in this body right now? What feels good in the nervous system? What feels good in the heart? Notice the heart above all. Okay? Look at this right now. I've just floated over to a grove of lotus flowers. Lotus flowers have to do with new beginnings. So this is your permission to give to yourself, to give yourself a new beginning, a new way of living life, opening up the window, stepping through onto the roof. If you don't like heights, okay, maybe you just want to step through the door and just take in the view around you. As I've been speaking to you, I've been floating, knowing that I'm safe, knowing that other boaters around me will take the correct steps if needed to go around me, to give me space so I'm not rocked in my boat too much. If I'm rocked in my boat a little, I will enjoy the waves. That's important. Enjoy the waves that come to you in your life, right? Okay, so I'm gonna look in the comments. We're at 30 some minutes. Kevin Spence, I have been doing a job that he hates his entire life. Wow. Okay, so you can take the steps that we talked about today, and this will be on a replay. You'll have it available for you to take the thing, whether it be a job or something else, and kind of go through the steps of what you desire. What is there something that you've always wanted to do? I'm reminded of, I used to be a Stephen King fan, and I think this is the book, The Stand. It's been coming up to reread it, and I haven't been reading a lot of books like that because I feel like it's of a darker nature, shadowy nature. And I don't read stuff like that very often, but I might revisit it. Came up, guy mentioned it that I met in Laguna like 2 years ago, The Stand. And in that, this guy who's been working a job, he was not in good shape, I think physically he was not in good shape. He did not eat well. He was not outside very much. And this guy decides to leave, and I don't remember what prompts him to leave. There's like a certain state of affairs happening in this book with like the world that I can't quite remember, but he leaves this job and it keeps cutting back. There's like a few different perspectives in this book where you join a person or a group of people or a couple, and you kind of get to go on the journey of where they are at that time. And then it kind of links everything together later, I think. So there's this guy, and there's also a movie. Okay, Joe the Volcano. Watch this movie, Joe the Volcano. It's an old movie with Tom Hanks from, I don't know if it's the late 70s or the early 80s. I don't know when Tom Hanks started doing his stuff. But and it's got Meg Ryan, early Meg Ryan. And it's wonderful because she plays different roles. It's awesome. And again, it has to do with someone who's in a job and it feels like a dead-end job and it feels like death. Basically, it feels like death, like someone's walking around like a zombie, not in their body and just going through the motions. And then something happens where something comes along and there's got to be a change. Maybe it has to do with health. Maybe it has to do with finding out that there's an illness that has been known about. Maybe it has to do with like death in another way in their life, death to a personal relationship. You leaving your job or leaving something else for something else is a death. And there's a mourning process. I'm just going to say that briefly because there tends to be a mourning process with this, and it's okay to have those feelings come up. But when we take you through this intentional way of syncing up to a vibration that you want to have change in your life in some way, we tend to focus on, oh my gosh, this thing I don't like. And instead, what we are asking you right now is to focus on the feeling of what is desired rather than the latter, right? So that's what you'll do. You'll look at those steps and you'll ask yourself questions about where I am financially and ask yourself the truth of those things, not where your mind thinks you should be in order to take the next step that has been calling to you for some time. This is your permission to take the next step. You have your ability, your response ability, the ability to respond, regardless if I'm saying, think about trying this out. There is no fault. There is no, I have to take responsibility for you by giving you this message. This is fully your ability to respond to the words I'm saying, to your heart call for this type of process. We got Griffin 4 that talks about his inner being lazy. I will tell you, the inner being lazy. Your inner being wants nothing more than to just be. You could say that paddling onto a lake and just floating about is lazy. But that is part of the process. The process of being, the process of feeling. Now, if you are talking about procrastination does not have anything to do with the inner being. Your inner being is here with you right now, always in the now. Your inner being is the one that gives you the heart call. Your inner being is the one that gives you that resonance of, I want that swing. I want that playground. I want to play tag. That's your inner being. The excitement. What you are speaking of is the mind. The mind will offer procrastination. And sometimes the mind will offer distractions, different ways of distracting yourself from moving forward with what you want. How you move out of the procrastination, and we'll call it that, not the laziness, because oftentimes in your world, when someone sees you relaxing, they often call you lazy. So we will kind of bring in different terminology for you. We will bring in the procrastination the inability to move forward, the ability to move forward, but then it stops and reverses and goes back and turns around and circles, possibly. The unending hamster wheel that many of you step onto. We are asking you to step off and bring truth into your experiences. What is it that is needed at this time? Sometimes a float is needed, a paddle and action is needed, and then a stillness is needed. And then there might be times where you feel an urgency. Even though you are safe, your body will alert you to say, a boat coming by, a boat that may not see you, and you will get the instinct to paddle. This is where your mind comes in. This is more of a reptilian, lower mind that will help you come in for your own survival. Welcome it. Appreciate it. For you are a physical body in a physical 3D world, and there are mechanisms put in place for you to stay safe. You have a higher mind, and the higher mind comes into play and works with your heart. And that higher mind will bring in intrigue and curiosity into the tasks that you wish to complete in your day. If you are feeling a boredom of something, allow yourself to feel the boredom. Allow yourself to bring your senses to other things around you, possibly close your eyes and feel the boredom. You will notice that the boredom tends to recede because you will start focusing on breath, on sounds, on smells, on feelings of the air, the fluctuations of the air around you. And all of a sudden there's intrigue, there's a curiosity that you can tap into. So in any task you have procrastination-wise, ask yourself how you can create intrigue. How can you make it interesting? Even the job that you might be in, that is the same old every day, if your wish is not to take action and create an instant opening, find little ways to bring intrigue into that job that you have disliked all your life. Is it the actual job, or is it a change of perspective that is needed? That is also coming in. What is it that makes you dislike or hate your job? There was a time when we were in a job. It was 3 or 4 years into it as bringing, different hair creations to people in my life. And I was getting bored. And I was blaming the people coming in. Not physically, but mentally. I was blaming. And then I was getting frustrated. And I was noticing I was frustrated because I was doing the same thing over and over and over. There was no change. My clients were very happy. I was having a lot of funds come in, but there was a boredom that came in. And I came to this realization of, wait a second, who is in control of that? I thought I couldn't change anything with my clients because they were happy with what I was giving them, but yet I was bored. And then I thought, I'm the only one who can change that. I'm the only one that can bring new into that. So I decided to start looking at the magazines and finding excitement as to what I would like to create. Not what they wanted, but what I would like to create. And so then you have a collaboration that starts to begin, because what you do is you bring the technique that you've done before that people appreciate, and you bring it into a new way. In fact, you might, by doing this, you are offering a new choice to that person. You are offering possibly a way for them to break out of a sameness that they've themselves have been trapped in, or trapped into thinking that this is what they want always and forever. And I will tell you, there is no always and forever. There is in the being that you are, because you are eternal. You are always eternal, beyond death. You are energy. You continue to go on in many different forms. However, in this place that we are all, Earth, it's about contrast, it's about change, it's about impermanence. And you give the choice, the availability to those people, that group, that person, and yourself to break out of a box, to expand. And so what I learned was, I could offer up these looks, and then I could adjust accordingly to the preferences of the person in my chair. And sometimes they had a preference, and sometimes they had a pure openness, right? Completely pure and open to the new, to the, oh my gosh, yeah, I never thought about doing that, to the fact that, and the trust that I have the ability to look at a picture, notice the density of their hair, whether it be thinner, thicker, super thick, almost no hair at all. For men and women, what will work with the density of their hair, their face shape, with their lifestyle of what they're willing to do in the morning, and give them the tools, the products, to help them on their way with this new look, right? And then to see them possibly out in the world, because sometimes I would see them when I was in downtown Denver and I was working there. I would see them on a regular basis, and I would see how they're styling their hair, and I could give them tips, or I could note in my mind, all right, mental note, readjust this type of haircut, let them know that you noticed something later, for the way that they seem to be styling their hair, right? To give them the optimal experience with their hair, with their look, with what they want to have their personality show, right? Okay, hey Papa Smurf, I've seen you before here. Good morning, brightest future. Okay, so if you're just showing up, I got on randomly and I'm in a lotus blossom field. Check out this video on the replay. There are 5 steps of creation, not necessarily manifestation, but the art of allowing, which is known by Abraham Hicks, that I have brought in today into your world. So I'm so happy that you guys joined me today. This is really great, actually. I want to be on water every time I'm live with you guys. This is incredible. This is really incredible. I'm going to give you a little bit of close-up of the lotus blossoms as we close out today. Take a deep breath in with me. Hold and release. We've just anchored the energies of the Lion's Gate, of the 8-8, of the eclipse. There's an eclipse tomorrow. If you're able to go to waters tomorrow, either to swim, to bathe in them, to, I'm going to give you a view of the lotus while I talk. See if I can find one. If you're able to go and connect to the waters of the land, you can even sit with a bottle of water and invoke a blessing, a prayer, an intent, what have you. And an intent to bring heaven and earth together. You are the channel where heaven and earth meet. Bringing heaven on earth is bringing okay, that's a lot of weird zooming around. Bringing heaven on earth is your channel connecting with the earth and the water. So you can bring intention to a glass of water before the eclipse tomorrow. And whether you're able to see the eclipse or not able to see the eclipse, it really doesn't matter. You're tapping into the energies of this water now. I'm anchoring here certain sacred waters that were gathered from all around the world. How am I doing that? I received a vial of waters gathered from all around the world, sacred waters, at a convention sometime in 2023, I believe. And I left them here in this area with a friend, and then I was reminded of those waters. So I'm not only bringing sacred waters from around the world anchored here, I am bringing them. I did a ritual of water years ago here in these chain of lakes, and this must be important here in the land of Illinois. Somehow it may be important in the land that you are in, the country you are in, the province, the city, the land, the town. This is of importance right now, if you are seeing this video, to bring your intent of heaven on earth, paradise in form, here with us. There is a timeline split that I've been being made aware of that has to do with a balance of a biological timeline and a technological timeline. And there are galactics that are bringing balance to the technology of AI. So any of you that have fear of that kind of thing, of technology taking over and all the movies that have been out in the past, have no fear. It's being taken care of. You're being asked to connect with the cosmos and the land, to be where heaven and earth meets, to bring heaven on earth for the new earth, the new human. So bless your waters. You can simply say, heaven on earth, paradise in form, and hold the high vibrational frequencies, resonances, I will say, for the new earth within your own channel, and bring that out to others. Okay? So, impromptu, in my morning hair, I love you. I love you. Moonflower. Oh my gosh, Papa Smurf. Okay, sorry, my alarm went off. Oh my gosh, Papa Smurf. Smurfs came up the other day, by the way. Smurfs came up because of like a book, a children's book I keep thinking about. Moonflower, yes. I've been collecting the seeds from these, and I've been looking it up on YouTube, but I haven't found. These lotus blossoms are lotus blossoms they're called the American lotus blossom. And whenever I look up lotus blossoms, I keep getting these other kinds that are from a different place around the world. the inside is harvested and then it is made into a paste, a sweet paste that goes into mooncakes. And the first time I heard about a mooncake was some Disney movie, I think, that's out there where mooncakes are made. I can't even think of what the movie's called right now because it's been a while. I feel like I've only seen it one time. If anybody knows what cartoon I'm talking about, Disney cartoon where they make mooncakes, let me know. And moon pies. Yeah, moon pies. I thought I might make one. I'm fasting right now, which apparently is why I'm thinking about food. Utu, Oma, Miss Love. Oh, hey, Edwin. How you doing? We're talking about mooncakes. We just had a great live about 5 steps in the art of allowing, basically, which has to do with manifestation, but very different. It's more about the feeling, not the visualization. Okay, so Papa Smurf. Awesome, mooncakes. I have collected the seeds from the lotus blossoms to see about making my own mooncake. My own sweet mooncake. So I'm gonna keep collecting them while I'm here. I'll be flying out back to Colorado area Saturday or Sunday. I'm hanging out in the Chain of Lakes area right now in Chicago and enjoying the water and working with the water before the eclipse. So this is some of what I do. I bring my vibration here. I don't always know why I'm drawn to a location. Sometimes it's other things like family that I'm thinking needs help. They don't really need help. I mean, there's some help, but it's really a trip for me. That seems to be how it shows up for me. It might show up for you in a different way. Hey, Daniel, hello. Well, thank you everyone for coming here. I love you. I enjoy our time together, and I look forward to seeing you like really live, up close in person, as my memberships come to a creation. I have someone working on my website. I'm allowing them to mostly handle the creation of everything. I'm stepping aside to allow the creation to come forth and still have input as to like the look I want to have for it, which is very different, I think, than what I started off with. So it's almost like a renewal, a revamping of a system that I was using initially called Shine Pages, taken to a place where it would be free, where Bitcoin would be available, where people would be able to be pay with Bitcoin and with cash and be introduced to a new way of payment, which I guess is very important. Okay, so my connection's going a bit wonky. I will sign off with you guys now. I'm going to start paddling, and as always, we are one. One heart, one breath, one love, one lotus flower. One lotus flower among many, right? The lily pads. Beautiful lily pads. I will talk to you soon. I love you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow is Wednesday, is my normal live, and it will be the time of the eclipse. So I believe I will be there live. If not, you will know why I did this one. And 11:11 Mountain Standard Time, live with love. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.